I want to show you one of the most really eye-opening pieces of video that I've seen in a long time, and this is just fascinating. I'm going to play this video, and first of all, who you're seeing here is former CIA Director Mike Pompeo at a green screen during an event. And I just want you, I'm just going to play it. I'm not going to say anything about it, and then we'll come back and talk about it. It is amazing. Watch.
Sir, P-U-R-S-E-R. And his first name is Benjamin.
Walk up and take a picture with him. So what did he hand him?
That's what you call service.
You've been served, Mr. Pompeo. So he thinks he's there to get his photo taken. Like, come on up, this dinner event. You can have a special dinner and you can have your picture taken with Mike Pompeo.
The guy should have at least taken a picture because, you know, when you prove to the court that you've served someone, there's more than a video. There's like a...
That would have been great, actually. Yeah. Smile. All right. What do you got in your hand here? I just want you to have this after our photo. This is, you've been served.
Can you hold it for the photo?
This is it. You've been served. So what's this all about? The lawsuit claims that he provided oversight for a criminal conspiracy to violate the Fourth Amendment rights of American lawyers and journalists inside the Ecuadorian embassy in London. Of course, all around journalists, healthcare providers, and other people going to the Ecuadorian embassy in London to meet with Julian Assange. Now, Pompeo, of course, is one of the biggest defendants in this case, which also names the CIA, current firm UC Global and UC Global director David Morales-Gillian. They are accused of spying on WikiLeaks, publisher, and the founder Julian Assange, and his visitors while he was seeking refuge inside the Ecuadorian embassy in London. So the lawsuit is amazing because we know that the CIA, under the direction of Mike Pompeo, planned to kidnap and then assassinate Julian Assange. Can you imagine that meeting at the White House? I have an idea. This WikiLeaks guy, we have a meeting. We're going to go grab some scones, go grab some seltzer water back there, grab your coffee, because we're going to talk about this. So there's a guy named Julian Assange. He just released a whole lot of information about
I don't think it's that uppity. I think it's just like in the Bourne Identity, where it's like,
go get him.
Don't tell me what you're going to do, but do the thing. And they meet in the cafe, and it's spoken in innuendo.
There was much more of a paper trail about it. Because Yahoo News broke the story, right?
It'd have to be somewhat uppity. Sorry.
You think?
Yeah,
like
because
meeting
it has
notes.
So many chains of command it has to go through. It's not just one. If it was one person designing it, it has to go through this whole chain of command. So they have to have their meetings and.
That's not how it works on the Bourne Identity, but okay, sure.
Make it happen. Where's Bourne? Is that Bourne? Is he back?
I mean, and it's like the two guys are trying to not know what the other one's doing, but not really know.
Put an asset in the field. But at the end of the day, I mean, this is, I know we're joking about the Bourne Identity part of this thing, but this is awful. I mean, think about the freedom of the press, right? This is journalism. This is free journalism. We're watching it, collapse before our eyes. And it really, a lot of it hinges on what happens with Julian Assange. So Yahoo News broke the story and the details around how the CIA considered abducting and possibly murdering Assange while he took refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy in London to avoid being extradited on fake, drummed up rape allegations that were then dropped in 2017. Then they had more than 30 former officials say that former CIA Director Mike Pompeo was apparently motivated to get even with WikiLeaks. There were 30 people on the record talking to Yahoo News about this, following its publication of sensitive CIA data. Now, Deborah Herbeck, the reason that this lawsuit is fascinating is because it's not necessarily about Julian Assange himself, but it's about the people who were going to meet with Julian Assange and what these people were doing to them without their knowledge. So Deborah Herbeck, she's a lawyer that went to visit Assange at the embassy, and you think, oh, attorney-client privilege, right? You go in I'm in a safe spot. It's, by the way, it's technically sovereign Ecuador here in London, right? What is the CIA involved in this? How are they involved in the Ecuadorian embassy? So she goes in to meet with Julian Assange, and she explains how, they took our phones. They basically did disk images of our phones. They literally copied SD cards, anything we had, computers. They stole it, basically wiped it and stole the data and handed it back. And they did it while they were hidden, while they were inside meeting with Julian Assange. Listen to Deborah Herbeck, the lawyer who met with Julian Assange.
On arrival, there was a strict protocol for the protection of Julian, we were told. Passports, mobile phones, cameras, laptops, recording devices, and other electronic equipment were turned over to the security guards in the lobby. We learned much later, through a criminal investigation under the supervision of a court in Spain, that while visitors like me were meeting with Julian in the embassy conference room, the guards next door were taking apart our phones, removing and photographing SIM cards, and we believe downloading data from our electronic equipment. Their boss, David Morales from UC Global, who appears to have been recruited by the CIA through associates of Sheldon Adelson during a visit to a tech conference, was making regular trips to Washington, D.C., to New York, to Las Vegas, reportedly to hand over thumb drives and to receive further instructions from his U.S. government handlers. In other words, during our meetings with Julian at the embassy, recordings of our confidential conversations and the contents of our electronic devices were being delivered into the hands of the United States government. I'm a New York lawyer. I have the right to assume that the US government is not listening to my private and privileged conversations with my clients, and that information about other clients and cases I may have on my phone or laptop are secure from illegal government intrusion. This is not just a violation of our constitutional rights. This is an outrage.
That's
unbelievable to think. So, and one of the other lawyers saying, you'd walk in, they'd ask for your phone, and it was supposed to be protected in a security, in a secure spot. No, it wasn't. So while you were in there, they were literally going through and doing mirror images of your phone to get all of the data and information.
That's crazy. I mean, when you go into an embassy, they often do take away your
but it's put in a secure location.
But you don't assume that they're like, thanks, what's the password?
Right. Or take your computer and literally just do a copy.
Apart.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. They're just taking a phone apart. That's not an easy task these days.
No, and how can you do that, like, in the amount of time that you have? And also the doctor part of that. So the doctor's going, you have patient-client privilege, right? Mm-hmm. So you have the relationship between the doctor. It doesn't matter. They're just getting any information about that client. Doesn't matter. That patient, all of that privacy went out the window. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see how this is handled. Of course, we know Mike Pompeo. We know, according to Yahoo News, we know Stella Assange, of course, actively talking about this, what Mike Pompeo was trying to do to assassinate Julian Assange. Mike Pompeo, upon his first speech as CIA director, laid out exactly what he wanted to do with Julian Assange in 2017. Listen.
WikiLeaks walks like a hostile intelligence service and talks like a hostile intelligence service. It has encouraged its followers to find jobs at the CIA in order to obtain intelligence. It directed Chelsea Manning in her theft of specific secret information. It overwhelmingly focuses on the United States while seeking support from anti-democratic countries and organizations. It's time to call out WikiLeaks for what it really is: a non-state hostile intelligence service often abetted by state actors like Russia.
My question is, now that he has been named as a defendant, along with government agencies, will your taxpayers then provide his defense?
Probably, if it was done under the
He served personally, but he can claim that what he did was on behalf of the job. And so it will be taxpayer-funded lawyers that defend him against this. So then we will collectively defend this behavior.
Well, that means, it's basically the United States against those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, saying we have the right to do it and we defend him for having done it. Because, taxpayers will defend. I believe, if I could see the screen again, that the CIA was named as well.
Oh, yeah, the agency was, yeah.
The CIA, the agency, as well as Mike Pompeo personally. So that defense will be thrown under, most likely, one law firm, one lawyer.
Here's the complaint, Philip, if you want to take it. Here are the people. Deborah Herbeck, one of the lawyers in this, a couple of lawyers.
No, I'm interested in who are the defendants.
Right
It's
here.
David, yeah.
Right here, Central Intelligence Agency.
Okay, so you have to think that they will present a collective defense, and that it will be taxpayers who will defend. So, I mean, it's interesting because this lady who's a New York lawyer, she will pay taxes in order to pay the defense in which she is suing.
Right. This is something I would gladly pay taxes on to get to the bottom of.
No,
This
but
is-
you'll be paying taxes to defend what was done. Our taxpayer dollars as Americans will defend the CIA and Mike Pompeo.
So here's a question. Would I rather have my tax dollars go to like the discovery, this unfolding, because this is what's going to happen here. And as someone said, wait till we see the redacted discovery process, right?
Yes.
I'd rather have my tax dollars, frankly, because we know that they flush our tax dollars down the toilet or use it to bomb other countries. I'd much rather have it go to the discovery process to find out what these scumbags were doing with Julian Assange at the CIA. Like, so, you know.
But then our taxes will also pay a settlement for having done it, and
the
it
thing
will
is,
be an
like you said,
expensive defense.
Or someone, yeah.
It will, and it's all going to be redacted because it's going to fall under the auspice of, oh, we can't share this because it goes against the national security, like somebody in danger, so we can't share any of this information. And plus, they've got the deepest pockets, so none of those people aren't going to be able to afford to keep this going for years and years, where the government could.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this woman is suing on behalf of herself, so
Yeah.
she can maybe. But it feels awful to know that we collectively are against her, right? Because
Well,
we're taxpayers, and so now we will fund the defense for this.
Yeah. Well, let us know your thoughts on this, and we will be following this case to see how much of it is unredacted and what we'll be actually be able to present here on the show. We'll be watching this closely. I can't wait to see how. I'd love to see Pompeo. Hope this is open trial. You know, if it ends up going to trial, I would love to see this. Cameras in there. I'd love to see Pompeo sweating and having to explain and having to account for this assassination piece. I wonder if that'll even come up or if that's admissible as part of this.
Let's see if he lies, cheats, and steals under oath, right?
Right, which he's proud to say he does.
Maybe they'll do the
That's right,
maybe
he
they'll
did
do
say
the
that.
trial live from Guantanamo.
Live from Guantanamo Bay.
Guantanamo Bay.